Are you ready, Monarchs fans? It's time for the Old Dominion Football Show with Bruce Rader and Coach Bobby Wilder.
In what may go down as the most challenging first month in Old Dominion football history, the Monarchs have seen two impressive wins, followed by two very tough losses to a pair of ACC teams. With several of their top players lost for the year with devastating injuries, ODU won games 1 and 2, scored 23 points against North Carolina in a festive home game at SB Ballard Stadium, and then last week on the road in Blacksburg, with the second youngest quarterback ever to start an FBS game, the Monarchs suffered a loss to Virginia Tech, the 12th ranked team in the nation. This weekend provides a much-needed day off. Next weekend, the start of a tough Conference USA schedule and a quest for a second straight bowl game invitation. So where do we stand? Let's ask the coach. The Old Dominion Football Show starts now. Bobby, 4 games down, 8 to go. All Conference USA matchups. Coach, when we talked before the season, everybody was happy, everybody was healthy, then boom, Jonathan Duhart, Ray Lowry, out for the year, your two top offensive players, and that was just the start. Man, how do you overcome this?
Yeah, it's really hard, Bruce, when you have 9 players out for the year early on. You mentioned Duhart and Lowry. We've got 49 players that are injured. And one of the things I want to speak to, Bruce, is that they work so hard for 12 opportunities during the year. And it's really hard when somebody gets hurt. You just feel so badly for them because they want to play so badly. But this week has been really good, Bruce. We practiced this morning. A lot of our players are back. They're working to get healthy. And you and I have talked about this a lot, Bruce. It's not an excuse. It's just part of sports. And then it's the next man up. You got to work with that next man. You got to coach him up, get him ready to go. And that's what we're going to do going into next week.
All right, let's talk about last week. You go to Blacksburg, you take on one of the top teams in the country, Virginia Tech. You lose the game, but as I said on the Sports Wrap on Monday, even on Sunday afternoon, I'm talking to Virginia Tech fans, Old Dominion fans, from both schools who said they really enjoyed the game. They enjoyed being with each other up in Blacksburg. That was a good game for college football in Virginia, and I think it was a good game for Old Dominion.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bruce. Great atmosphere, and congratulations to Coach Fuente to Virginia Tech. That's a classy organization, a really good football program, great environment for football. As you know, you've been there a lot. There's 65,000 people. The first of 13 games, Bruce, coming up, and we're going to be more competitive in that series. In this game, Bruce, for the first 25 minutes, it's a 3-0 game. It's back and forth. We're hanging in there. We just couldn't get offense generated in this game. We'd get to 3rd and short, 4th and short, and we just couldn't convert. But looking ahead to this series, I'm really excited about it. I think it's a great series for both schools.
Well, of course, the big story everybody's talking about is your freshman quarterback, Steve Williams, his first start against a Bud Foster Virginia Tech nationally ranked defense. Is that kid still talking to you this week, Coach?
Sorry, Steve. He is. And Bruce, I really liked his poise, his presentation during the game. Obviously, he didn't have the kind of success we wanted him to have or to have on offense. But when you're a true freshman, you think about this, Bruce, his first reps are right before the half at North Carolina. We're in a 2-minute drill. And then he plays well in that drive in the second half. And for the most part, he played really good in this game. We just couldn't generate offense. But he's going to be a better quarterback, Bruce, for this experience. If anybody in life can think about this, if you start off in the most challenging situation you can in your job and you hang in there and you have a great attitude, it's only going to get easier for him moving forward.
With all these injuries, how many did you say?
49 total.
With all these injuries, this bye week could not have come at a better time.
No, it really couldn't, Bruce. And I mentioned earlier we practiced this morning. You could just see the kids that were a lot fresher. And sometimes what gets lost is they've been playing, Bruce, for 7 weeks. We had the preseason, 3 weeks of preseason, then 4 games. So that's 6 out of 7 days they practiced. And then we took 4 days off. So that really helped them to feel fresher, to feel better. Really good practice this morning. And they're excited, Bruce, to get started with league play.
All right, let's talk about the future. As I mentioned, we had talked in the summertime. Everybody was so happy. You had Ray Lowry. You had Jeremy Cox back this year. We assumed that this was going to be a run-first team like you had last year, a lot of play action with the quarterback. Jeremy also nicked up right now, I understand. What kind of offense are you and Brian Scott putting together now?
Well, I've talked to Coach Scott about this and our offensive coaches, and we still feel strongly, Bruce, that we can run the football, which will help Stevie Williams in his development. We rushed for 200 yards against Massachusetts without Ray Lowry, and Cox was healthy at that point, and then he got the hip pointer. But we feel strongly, Bruce, we can run the ball, and now we've got Melvin Vaughn back who can play tight end or receiver, gives us another threat. We're going to get Chad Hendricks back, we believe, for next week's game. FAU, our starting right tackle. We have to be able to run the football, and that'll open things up for the quarterback. So we're going to stick to that plan, what we had, Bruce, and keep working to improve.
All right, the non-conference schedule is behind you. The Conference USA schedule is lined up, and first up, Florida Atlantic. But before we get to that, let's talk about Conference USA as a whole this year.
Yeah, it's really interesting, Bruce. A lot of teams, and I've watched everybody in the league, watched all their games. A lot of teams are like us right now. They've got some key players out. You look at Middle Tennessee, who's one of the favorites to win the league. Their quarterback, Brent Stockstill's got a fractured sternum. He might be out for the whole year or a lot of the season. A lot of teams are like that right now, trying to get healthy as we all come out of our playing Power 5 games, which takes a toll on you. So I think the league is really wide open this year, Bruce. Western Kentucky's 2-2. As you know, they've been dominant the last couple of years. They lost 3 players to the NFL. They lost 8 seniors that were good players for them. So everybody's kind of in that mode right now where they're trying to develop an identity, and I think the league is wide open. Anybody can win it.
We know how excited your players were about playing in these big games.
Right.
They're a lot more resilient than old guys like us. What's their attitude?
Yeah, the most disappointing thing, Bruce, is we got beat. We got beat in both games. We're disappointed with the losses. I was really hoping we could see where we were as a program playing these games. I thought we'd be really competitive in the games, but I'm still not sure who we are based on all the injuries. I know we've got a good football team. Our players, Bruce, right after the game in the locker room said, hey, it's time to turn the page now. Our goals are still there in terms of going to our second straight bowl game, winning the conference championship, competing to win the East. So they are focused on that, and I was really proud of their attitude. Right after the game, we just got in the locker room, and everybody had turned the page and said, hey, let's put our eyes on this.
All right, let's put our eyes on this. Still to come, Big Miles Fox is one of the reasons Old Dominion is one of the best teams in the nation at getting after the quarterback, but he's going to have his work cut out for him in the 1-minute drill with Nathan Epstein. And Coach Wilder answers your questions in the Coach's Corner next on the Old Dominion Football Show.
Back with the Old Dominion Football Show. I'm Nathan Epstein with the 1-minute drill. Joining us today, Miles Fox, defensive tackle. Now, you're from Atlanta. That must have been a disappointing Super Bowl.
I went home, was laid in my bed. I don't even want to speak about that night. It was one of my best moments.
Did you celebrate too early? Did you think it was over?
At halftime, I thought the game was over. I was like, hey, yeah, we won the Super Bowl, man. And now I was sitting there, hands in my face, second half, everybody in my ear.
You're a defensive lineman. You love to get after the quarterback. Now, one of your teammates said he would love to sack Tom Brady. Is that feeling mutual, especially with what happened?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I don't like him. Second would probably be Matt Ryan. I like my quarterback, but, I mean, it would just be fun to sack him. Heineke would be fun to sack, too.
What is it with your teammates wanting to sack a former quarterback of yours?
Well, I mean, I went to high school with him. He went to the same high school as me, so it'll be fun to get him on the ground.
This is a very popular question. What is your go-to karaoke song?
Probably Burn by Usher.
All right, lay it down.
It's gonna be hard for me to say this, but it's coming from my heart. Been a long time coming. They're laughing at me. I can't remember the rest of the words, so.
What is the movie line that best describes Miles Fox?
Hey, girl, you gonna eat your cornbread?
You gonna eat your cornbread?
Maybe Eddie Murphy? Could he play you in a comedy?
I don't know, but maybe Martin Lawrence buffed up a little bit, gained a little weight.
Miles, what is your favorite thing about being an Old Dominion Monarch?
Definitely my teammates and coaches. You know, I come in, LR, happy to be there because I know they're going to put a smile on my face.
He's Miles Fox, and he's past the 1 minute drill. Miles, why don't you say goodbye to the Monarch Nation?
See you, Monarch Nation.
Ain't no more to it.
Big Miles from Lawrenceville, Georgia. He always has a smile on his face, and hey, he's one of the smartest guys on the team, if not in all of Conference USA.
He is. He's a special player, Bruce, and he played in 2015 as a true freshman, had offers from Iowa, Georgia Tech, and still chose Old Dominion. He's leading the league in sacks right now, and he's one of the best students on the team.
How about that? All right, so still to come, questions from you in the Coach's Corner. The Old Dominion Football Show rolls on. Time now for the Coach's Corner. Coach Marcus from Portsmouth wants to know your team seems to have a lot of walk-on players that eventually earn scholarships. Why are these players overlooked coming out of high school?
This is a really good question, Bruce. We have had a number of players, 24 players in 8 years that have come in as walk-ons and earned scholarship. And the reasons, Bruce, players like Andre Bernhard, who might have been injured as a senior, that just didn't have a lot of video for somebody to see, or Bumi Rotimi, who leads our team in sacks, the all-time career sack leader at Old Dominion, didn't have the size that a lot of people were looking for at the time. So what we've always tried to do is take these players, recruit them, then develop them, and as they develop, they earn a scholarship, and it's a program we'll continue to develop. Thanks for the question.
All right, you return to action next Saturday night at SB Ballard Stadium against Florida Atlantic, and their offense is struggling. Are you putting your game plan together already for that game?
Yeah, we have, Bruce. We've already started that. This week's schedule, the first 3 days, the coaches were on the road recruiting. We practiced today, Thursday. We'll practice Friday. Then we'll get a bonus practice Sunday. But we've broken down their first 4 games so far. They've got another game Saturday versus Middle Tennessee that will add to our breakdowns. But we've already started game planning for them and introduce them to our players. That's an advantage you want to take when you have a bye week.
All right, Coach. No game this week. Next week, Saturday evening at SB Ballard Stadium against Florida Atlantic. And join us next Thursday night at 10:45 for the Old Dominion Football Show. Good night, everybody.